Do you know you can create and analyze whiteboards with AI? In this video, I will show you the way from prompt to the whiteboard with the Collaboard MCP server. Collaboard is a Swiss online whiteboard focused on data security and data sovereignty. It's available as a cloud solution, but as well as an on-premise solution. And we just recently launched an MCP server that allows you to interact with your Collaboard whiteboards with your favorite AI tools. So to get started, let's have a look at some examples. So the first thing I would like to show you here is a Super Mario generated by AI out of sticky notes and some Space Invader characters. Maybe you remember this trend some years ago where people used sticky notes on the office wall to create these kind of structures. And the cool thing is now you don't need to do this manually anymore on the whiteboard. You can just generate it with AI. So this is more a fun use case. And a more practical use case I want to show you here is a roadmap we created with, in this case, ChatGPT and Collaboard, just with a simple but a well-thought prompt. And if you think about visualizing roadmaps, you can do this in the PowerPoint. You can also create HTML files and images. This is all cool, but the problem is afterwards, how do you work on that? How do you edit it? And most importantly, how do you collaborate with others on these kind of artifacts? And if you generate with AI these kind of roadmaps and other things on the whiteboard, you can invite others to collaborate on. And you see here, all the elements are editable in Collaboard directly. So this, I think, is also a very powerful use case because for roadmaps, you often need space, and Collaboard provides you an infinite canvas on which you can work on. And all this is possible with the Collaboard MCP server. And let's have a look on why we need this MCP server. So first of all, I'm sure you worked with AI tools, and the output very often remains trapped in the chat itself. So results are created as text and images, and then you might need to manually transfer these elements through the whiteboard, and this takes a lot of time. So this is one problem, and the benefit with the Collaboard MCP server is that the AI fills your boards directly. So out of the text content generated with the AI, you can create sticky notes, structures, and layouts, and this is done automatically on the whiteboard. So it makes you much faster. And if you work a lot with online whiteboards, maybe for meetings and workshops, then preparing these whiteboards takes a lot of time. So you need to create frameworks, structures, you need to add content, and I'm sure you will click a lot of time on your mouse. Now, the cool thing is when you use AI, you can start creating part of these structures and part of your workshops automatically. Of course, the result might not be perfect and optimized for your workshop, but it saves you a lot of time because you can then start working on something that's already here. And this is why we're building here the Collaboard MCP server to make your work with the whiteboard and with the AI faster, and that these two solutions speak the same language. Now, what is the Collaboard MCP server? So an MCP server, MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. It's an open standard that connects artificial intelligence with external data systems and does this in a standardized way. So we see here in the picture that the MCP server allows us to connect Collaboard, for example, with ChatGPT, with Claude, with Mistral, but also any other AI tool. So if you're hosting a local AI tool, maybe your company is from a from an environment where data security is very important, so you host your own AI tools. And in this case, you can use this standardized protocol to communicate between your whiteboards and the artificial intelligence. And I really like the analogy of a USB-C cable, which you can just plug in and things works on many different devices. So here also the idea is to have a standardized protocol that allows you to connect Collaboard with your favorite AI tools. Now, what are the technical capabilities of the Collaboard MCP server? So first of all, we have the option to ask in a natural language to create automatically a whiteboard, but we can also ask the AI to create a list and filter existing boards. And we can also retrieve board details. For example, last time the board was accessed, how many participants were on that board title, and all this meta data we usually have for the whiteboards itself. So that's the first part. The second part, and I think that's the almost most interesting one, is the option to create content. So the Collaboard MCP server, which is at the moment in beta, allows you to create sticky notes, text emojis, shapes and lines directly on the whiteboard. And it also has access to the drawing tools, so to the different pens, and also to the tape feature. And this allows you to create cool structure and cool things directly on the board. And be sure that's just the start, because we're going to extend the options of things to be created on the whiteboard with the MCP server very soon, and based also on customer feedback. Now, the third thing you can do, and this is also very powerful, you can read and analyze content. So imagine you're doing a 2 or 3 day workshop, you do a PI planning or whatever on Collaboard, and now you would like to create a summary out of that. So you can ask the AI to extract and read the content on this specific board and create a summary for you. It can also cluster things. I can create identify gaps, things you might not discuss, and you can use then this information to process results from your workshops and do other things with that content in a very nice way. And the fourth option, it's also search and discovery. I mean, Collaboard has a search on the whiteboard itself, and there is also a powerful and fast search across all your whiteboards. But the search usually works like this. So you you search for text, right? And with the AI, you can now search with natural language. You can ask, hey, when did I discuss this idea with my teammate? And then it's scanning all your whiteboards regarding these ideas and provides you a list of boards and maybe even a short summary about the idea and when you discussed it, and maybe even some more content like results and stuff like this. So these are the 4 pillars or 4 technical capabilities what the Collaboard MCP server can do at the moment. And now let's have a look on some practical use cases. So what I would like to show you first, and this is a real life use case, one of our users did as soon as we launched the Collaboard MCP server. It's summarizing content from a video. So what I have done so far here in ChatGPT, I uploaded the transcript of my last video where I revealed and showcased the new features of Collaboard version 9.5. And now I'm asking the AI to analyze this script of the video and then to create a summary, a visual summary containing all the key features and benefits, and do this in a professional way. So this is now a live use case. It will maybe take a few minutes. So we are just starting this. And what's happening now? So in this case, ChatGPT is analyzing the script. Then it will start calling Collaboard, and we give him some time to do that. And while he's doing it, we look at some other similar use cases, because summarizing text is something we have in place in many other tools at the moment. So we all know these note-taker tools in Teams and other applications. So usually you get this text script and the summary out of your meeting, which is nice, but still text. So what we can do in this case, we can take this transcript, give it to the AI, and tell, hey, please create a visual summary out of that. Meeting summary, key discussion points, extract task, and create them as sticky notes directly on the whiteboard, and so on. To make this a little bit more practical, I prepared here a board. So let's have a look on how this could look like. This is a transcript from a management meeting about the product launch of the real hoverboard. And you see how the AI created here this meeting summary directly on the whiteboard, like executive summary, strategic positioning, commercial frame. It even included a launch roadmap, target personas, and all the things discussed directly in the meeting are visualized here on our whiteboard. So this is one use case, and let me show you another one, as a lot of people who are using the online whiteboard are doing retrospectives. So this is a cool way to do it, but you can also do a retrospective just by talking. And in this case, capturing all the words, creating a transcript. And the use case I'm showing you here is that we took the transcript of a retrospective meeting and told the AI to create it in a Sailboat retrospective template. So let's have a look when I'm opening that board. And what we're seeing here is, based on the discussion, he started to visualize things. So we have here the sailboat, then we see the wind, the things that put us forward. We see here the anchors, and in this case, the AI used the tape feature in Collaboard to visualize the anchor, and so on. So that's also a cool use case. So we just start from a transcript, think about, oh, maybe a template that's already available in Collaboard for retrospective, like Sailboat retrospective. And then we tell the AI, create for me something visual in a structure like that. And to me, the result here, it's not perfect, but it's already mind-blowing how we reached just from a single text to a visual representation like this. And as a lot of people are visual thinkers, they will understand the important things much better if we do it like that compared to just text itself. Now, let's have a look what ChatGPT did and if he's already finished. Okay, he's already finished. So he did a few things. He called Collaboard a few times. He tried to open Collaboard now directly in ChatGPT, but we prevent that. But the result here now is we get a link and a new whiteboard. So let me open that and we will see the result. Yeah, so this is the Collaboard 9.5 webinar summary. So we see he created here a nice structure and put the summary almost usable directly on the whiteboard. We just see here, maybe the text got a little bit long, so we could have optimized the prompt, telling him that he should make sure the texts are always in the boxes. But in the end, I think he did a good job already on summarizing things from this webinar about all the cool new features we released in Collaboard version 9.5. Yeah, these were some practical use cases. Now, as a next step, I would like to show you how to set things up. So basically, you can connect Collaboard with any AI tool that supports an MCP connection. And to explain how it works, we have a documentation on help.collaboard.app. Just search for MCP and you will find the article on how to set this up in general. And you also find two guides with images for ChatGPT and for Claude. I don't want to show you now the manual. So I thought about another use case. So what I did, I took the manual, gave it to ChatGPT and say, please visualize the technical instructions for me. And this is the result. Also already quite good. I just needed to make a few adjustments. But let me now explain you shortly the workflow on how to set these things up. And you will see it's really quick. It doesn't even take 5 minutes to do it. And the steps are following. So you do stuff in your AI tool, and you do stuff in Collaboard, you to connect them, and then you are almost ready to go. So first of all, in the AI tool, you need to create a new MCP connection, and then you enter the MCP endpoint from Collaboard. So this URL you will find in our online help. And when you do this, you usually get a callback URL from the AI tool. And when you have this callback URL, you go into Collaboard, and in Collaboard, you create your OAuth client. In that OAuth client, you add the redirect URL you got from the AI tool and create your OAuth client. You can, if you want, generate also a client secret. You need then to get the client ID and the secret, go back to the AI, enter the client ID and the secret, click connect. You will be asked to log in once to Collaboard with your account. And as soon as you have done that, you're ready to go. And you can start with your first prompt, generating with AI your first Collaboard project. There is one recommendation. When you do your first prompt, tell the AI explicitly to use the Collaboard MCP server. So he's doing this call, and then afterwards it gets used to it. So you can just say, create this in Collaboard for me, and it will understand, okay, this is what I need to do. So setup really easy. And as I said, you will find the concrete guide on help.collaboard.app if you just search for MCP. Next, I would like to give you some tips about prompting, because you need to understand, prompting a text is something, prompting an image is something, but prompting an online whiteboard, it's a little bit different, because first of all, we're dealing with an infinite whiteboard. We have many different purposes, and the better the prompt, the more accurate the prompt, the better the result we will get. And I just summarized here 9 prompt tips for you for Collaboard based on my own experience. But if you need more, the easiest way is just ask the AI, which kind of prompt tips do you have for me when I want to work with AI and Collaboard? So let's have a look at some of the tips which I prepared. So first of all, it's always important to tell it which kind of board is it. It's a retrospective, it's more like a Kanban board, it's a mind map. So make this clear. Also tell what's the purpose of the board. It's like a project board, it's sprint review, it's something for creativity, for a product launch, or for a brainstorming session. This is super important as well. And define the target audience. It's the management team, it's engineers, it's marketeers. Based on that, the design of the board that the AI does will be adjusted. If you work, for example, in an agile way and you would like to create a simple Kanban board or something like that, tell him to create columns, or if you're preparing a big workshop, tell him to create sections for different activities. And also let the AI know, and I think that's one of the biggest differences to standard prompting, about the board size. For example, should be everything close together, like we have seen before in the example with the analysis of the transcript of the YouTube video, or do we need something more practical for a real workshop? Because in a real workshop, we will add much more content on the whiteboard itself, so we need also space for that. And this is why it's so important to specify the board size, and also tell the AI if it's for a workshop and if it should leave enough space for people then to collaborate on the content and the structures. Reading direction. Should it be from left to right, from top down? Also something important and very recommendable to use as a prompt tip. Provide specific content. So instead of just saying, hey, generate 10 sticky notes with ideas about my next fishing trip, it's maybe better to ask the AI before, create 10 ideas for my next fishing trip, and then tell, okay, now visualize them in a nice way on Collaboard. And as for many other use cases, you anyway have your content created before as a summary of a meeting transcript or something like this. So you can provide this specific content. Then a tip for design. So the Collaboard MCP server usually has some fallback colors he likes to use. But if you want to create your whiteboards in your own CI/CD, you can tell the AI, okay, use these kind of colors. You can just provide here the names, but you can also work with hex color codes to make it really accurate. And then in this case, it will generate the board with your colors. And last tip, which I also usually give in for real life activities. So keep text short. So for example, also on sticky notes. So the AI shouldn't write long sentences and put a lot of words on the sticky notes. So you can tell him, hey, for sticky notes, please do things in a short way. If you have a longer text, use the text object or a shape or something like that. Yeah, these are 9 prompt tips you can use, and the prompt is really important. And my biggest recommendation here, beside these 9 tips, is also ask the AI to help you create better prompts to generate your whiteboards in Collaboard. Now let's jump back to some other live use cases. So the next thing I would like to show you here is basically this Mario use case. At the beginning of the video, I showed you a final version, and as the next thing, we would like to test this in real. So I'm just copying here my prompt, create a Super Mario character in Collaboard using sticky notes. I'm going back to ChatGPT, paste this here, and he shall start. So this might take now also some time. And while the AI is doing these things, we are going back to one of our last use cases. So far, we have seen a lot about how to generate content on the whiteboard. But on the other hand, I also have the option to retrieve information and analyze things on the board itself. And this is especially useful after workshops and after meetings, where most of the activities happen directly on the board. And let me show you how you could do that also in ChatGPT now in this case. So first of all, I asked ChatGPT, do I have a Collaboard called Management Overview, the Real Hoverboard Product Launch? And then he answered, yes, I checked, and you have a board with exact that name. So in this case, he gave me the name, the idea, also the last access dates, and the number of participants. And then in the next step, I say, please create a management summary in text form for me, make it short and simple so I can easily send this by email. And then ChatGPT in this case analyzes everything and provides me a short email as a summary of what has happened on the whiteboard itself. And this is so cool because before you might need to take notes, you need to go for all the sticky notes and analyze everything by yourself. And now you can just ask the AI to do your job, but of course, always check for accuracy and if the information the AI generated is really true and correct. Now, let's have a look on our Super Mario example. So we were going back, so he's still working. So let's give him another few minutes to do that. And we are going back here to our summary of this webinar today. So what have we seen? So AI and whiteboards and Collaboard now speak the same language. So with the MCP server, we bridge the gap between AI tools and the visual workspace. We can generate boards in seconds instead of hours. So what previously had to be created manually can now be generated by Promt just in a few seconds. And this is very good, and the results are already exceptional, but of course you need to optimize them afterwards. So one example is you create a big structure for your workshop. You still need to lock elements. Maybe you want to hide some activities before you reveal them. And in Collaboard, we also have the pin option, so you can immobilize elements, but people can still write on them. So these kind of things you still need to create manually, and this is not supported. Maybe it will be in the future, but these kinds of more didactic preparation for a workshop still needs to be manual. Also, we learned that the prompt determines the result. So good results require good prompts. This is not something new, and it fully applies also to the whiteboard itself. And some last words about Collaboard MCP and data protection. So the Collaboard MCP doesn't store any data or something like that. And you can use it with your favorite AI tools such as ChatGPT, Claude, or Mistral. But we also support local AI systems and more sovereign AI tools. And you as a company, you can decide yourself if your users should have access to AI tools or not. And you can connect Collaboard with the AI tool of your choice that fulfills your security and compliance needs. Now, let's have a look if our Mario is finished. And we see after 2 minutes and 47 seconds, he tells us, done. I created a new Collaboard board with a Super Mario character built out of 133 colored sticky notes. And let's have a look at the results. I think that's a huge success. And if I'm just thinking about myself positioning 133 sticky notes in a way like that, it would have taken me a lot of time. And in less than 3 minutes, AI did that for us. With this, we conclude. So thank you very much for your time today. And if you want to try yourself, you will find in the description of the video the link to the help page, which allows you then to connect Collaboard with your AI tools. And then I can only say happy collaborating, happy prompting, and goodbye.